Charlotte, why is it important to protect the environment?
Well, it's important to protect the environment for future trekkers, as it will make their trip more enjoyable if they're trekking with less rubbish around them. And it's also good because we're educating the future and younger trekkers, so they have the education to be able to protect the environment like we did. Also, seeing that we're trekking in a natural park, a natural park, it also allows us to make sure that the natives have a clean land for their home.
Thank you.
On the DoE trek, how do you feel that the national park was protecting the environment?
Okay, so looking back on the trek, there were some examples of the natural environment being not only being protected but also studied. Examples of the natural environment that being protected by local officials. For example, there were a lot of signs that made sure tourists and trekkers stayed on the actual marked routes, so they didn't damage any fragile foliage to maintain the beauty of the landscape. And also an example of how the environment was actually being studied was that at one of the stops that we were at, one of the huts, there was actually a crater that had been fenced off, and it was being used for studies for to prevent future volcanic, to how to better predict future volcanic eruptions and prepare for them.
I have a question for you, mate.
Go on.
So in DoE, what did the rangers tell us about tourism and the effects it has on the environment?
Well, that's very pertinent, actually. The ranger told us that tourism is something that has to be dealt with carefully, as too much tourism can easily affect the environment in New Zealand, and we do not wish to damage any plants native to the land. Therefore, several things were made, and the ranger described this. The ranger described this as pathways, in which they chose to put wooden walkways so that we don't disturb the land and the plants around. We therefore walked upon these pathways to ensure the safety of the plants neighboring us. The ranger explained to us that it was very important, as growing these plants takes years, and it's very important to ensure that these plants are safe and that the land is not disturbed, as any soil or disruption in the soil could lead to infection or disease for these plants. He said something very pertinent as well about the species of heather, which was imported from Scotland. This heather was in fact a plant which was supposed to sustain the grouse, which was an animal from Scotland. This animal from Scotland was put in New Zealand as they wished to implement it within the nature. However, this did not work out as well as they expected, as the grouse itself died quickly. But the plants, they're flourishing today and must be contained within a certain area. As if they are not, they would contaminate the rest of the area. Therefore, it's very important to take care and regulate tourists coming in to this area, because you can see that if things are not contained and dangerous factors are not taken into account, it can quickly lead to the defibrillation of land and the miscontainment of plants that are not indigenous to the region.
Thank you, Etienne.
All right.
The misty mountains rise, leave us standing upon the height. What was before we see once more. Is our kingdom a distant light? Fiery mountain beneath the moon. The words unspoken will be there soon. For home a song